Hi, I'm Pete Clark from the Autism Info Centre. Today we're diving into a topic that's getting more and more important. We're talking about adjusting to an autism diagnosis. That means figuring out what comes next after you or your child have just been told you're on the autism spectrum. It's such a vital topic because getting that news is a huge moment and it can bring up a whole mix of big feelings and practical questions. Have you ever spent ages trying to put together a really complicated jigsaw puzzle, only to realise you were looking at the wrong picture or looking at the box upside down? No, probably not. But that is often exactly what it's like receiving an autism diagnosis. It's a moment of sudden, crystal clear understanding. And as we go through this video, I'm going to talk about how to process those big emotions, where to find information you can actually trust, and a few practical ways to help make daily life a little bit easier. So let's start talking about how you might be feeling now. There's absolutely no right or wrong way to feel after your diagnosis. For lots of people, the biggest feeling is simply relief. It's a huge sense that a whole lifetime of feeling different or watching your child have a hard time, it finally makes sense. But it's also completely normal if you feel a little bit confused about what it all means for the future. You might even feel a bit sad or maybe a bit worried. There's a story about an autism advocate named Emily. When she got her diagnosis, she burst into tears because she was so overwhelmed at finally getting an answer for all those years. Whatever you're feeling right now, please know it is perfectly normal. You've just been given a very significant piece of new information. It's vital to be kind to yourself and allow yourself whatever time you need to process it. Don't rush it. All those big initial emotions will start to settle down a bit, but you might end up wondering what to do next. Taking a few practical first steps can really help you feel more in control of the situation. It helps you build a strong, steady foundation for your journey ahead. So the first step is finding reliable information. Now, the internet is absolutely full of information about autism, but sadly, not all of it is true and not all of it is helpful. It's really important to look for sources you can trust so you can avoid common myths and bad advice. In the UK, there are some absolutely wonderful charities and organisations that are a great place to start. For example, the National Autistic Society, or NAS, is the largest autism charity in the country. They offer a huge amount of information, advice and training for autistic people and their families. You could also look up Autistica, which is the UK's leading national autism research charity. And they share fantastic resources that help explain just how different autism can be from person to person. And of course, the NHS website is a great place for official guidance on diagnosis and support options. So connecting with the autistic community is another thing, a powerful thing that you can do. So if you're a parent, getting to know other families with autistic children is just as important. And finding people who actually live with autism every day can really help you feel a lot less alone. These kind of support networks give you a safe space where other people just get it. You can find these groups in a few different ways. Many charities run local support groups where you can meet other autistic people in person and share your stories. There are also lots of online communities and social media groups, particularly on Facebook, where you can ask questions and get advice from people who truly understand what you're going through. A question that comes up a lot is, does your diagnosis change who you are? And the honest answer, of course, is no. It doesn't change anything. The diagnosis itself doesn't change the person that you or your child have always been. What's changed now is that you have a tool to help you make sense of things that maybe didn't make sense before. So this is really the start of a journey to discover more about yourself. That new understanding lets you explore what makes your autistic profile or your child's profile completely unique. That means looking closely at the things you're great at, as well as some of the things you find hard. People sometimes ask if being autistic means a person will have superpowers. Well, we should always avoid silly stereotypes, but it's very true that autistic people often have some remarkable strengths. For example, these strengths can include an amazing attention to detail, could be the ability to focus really deeply on subjects they find interesting. That can make them absolute experts in some areas. Other common strengths are things like logical thinking and being great at spotting patterns, perhaps being really great at maths or science. Anything to do with logic, computer programmers, many of them are autistic. So lots of autistic people also care really deeply about honesty and being direct. So while we celebrate those strengths, we can also start to better understand the challenges at the same time. So challenges might be things like sensory processing, which just means how the brain handles things that we see, hear, smell, and touch. Challenges can also show up in communication, or in something called executive functioning. Other challenges include things like social behavior and understanding social rules and norms. So now executive functioning, just to briefly explain what that is, it's a simple way of describing the brain's management and decision-making system. So it's the part of the brain that helps us plan our day and stay organized and get things done. So when you know where you are and you know where the challenges are, you can start looking for practical ways to help. A formal diagnosis is often the key that unlocks the right kind of support. That's what makes it so valuable. So now is the perfect time to think about what adjustments might be helpful in different parts of your life. At home, you might want to try creating a safe space, like a quiet, calming area where you or your child can go to relax when things get a bit too loud or a bit overwhelming. You might also try using things like weighted blankets, that's one of my favourites, or fidget toys to help soothe your senses. Using visual timetables or even picture schedules, if that's what you need, they can be a great way to help make the day feel more predictable and less scary. When it comes to education, a diagnosis for a child can lead to much better support at school. This might be done through something called an Education, Health and Care Plan, or EHCP. If you're an adult going to university or college, a diagnosis lets you access their disability support services, so you get the help you need to do your best. But also in the workplace, it's really important to know that in the UK at least, autism is recognised as a disability under the Equality Act. Now that means you have a legal right to ask your employer for reasonable adjustments. Now those are quite simply small changes to your job or your workplace that remove the barriers you face, which helps you to do your work more comfortably and more productively. Adjusting to your autism diagnosis is very definitely a journey, and it's definitely not a race. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days. The absolute most important thing to remember is to be patient and be kind to yourself along the way. Diagnosis is not a negative label. For many people, finding out they're autistic is possibly the most positive thing that could ever have happened to them. It certainly was for me. Your diagnosis isn't a life sentence, and it certainly isn't a disaster. In fact, it's a wonderful tool for understanding who you are and why. It's a clear path to finding the right support, and it's a brilliant opportunity to build a life that feels more authentic, more comfortable, and for once, truly happy. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe now on YouTube And follow Autism Info Centre on social media, or visit autisminfocentre.org on the web for free autism news, articles, books, videos, podcasts, resources, and courses. See you in the next video.